Welcome back, everyone, to Game 2 of the 2022-2023 NBA season. We are Wolves After Dark. Timberwolves lose to the Jazz in overtime, a team that will be tanking for probably every game beyond this point. But the Timberwolves lose.
I don't
Immediate
know.
reactions.
I don't know. They built this roster against us, dude. It was like an automatic L.
That's true. They did. This was
Oh.
just for this game.
The 2027 first round pick.
Yeah.
Killed us.
Crazy. Walker Kessler, better than Rudy Gobert? I don't know.
Kelly Olynyk, better than Karl Anthony Towns?
Well, that's
have
always been
an
true.
opinion.
That's always been true. Yeah, pretty upsetting night. But, if you watched our season preview, there was already some thoughts that we had about this maybe happening. The Jazz are going to be jazzed up for this game and this game only, because this is their one game to win, and the rest of the season it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that they won't win any other games, but this is clearly a game that they wanted to win, and this is clearly a game we didn't care about losing. So disappointing. I am a little mad, but I'm not like full blown mad.
Game 2.
It's game 2 of a new roster. This is really only the third time that they've all played together as like a starting unit. So, there's going to be some growing pains, and there certainly have been. There were some good moments tonight. Cat had almost every bad moment for us, but
I think so.
Rudy looked really good. I mean, he had like 20 plus rebounds. Ant was driving a little bit. D'Lo looked pretty good. He dropped Mike Conley.
That looked like a movie.
That was insane.
How do you slide that much? There's no slip and slide there for you to slide on.
I have never seen that happen to a Timberwolves player do that to another player is like insane. I like double take when that happened, and then it went in.
That was highlight for sure.
Even crazier. But we've already got live reactions here.
Minnesota Timberwolves makes Talen Horton-Tucker look pretty awesome. Looks like Lauri Markkanen is an all-star gunslinger from the Finland. He's the finisher. He's their closer. he put us out in the parking lot tonight. Utah Jazz are going to be feisty this year. I think they are hungry to get contracts. They're going to play into other teams for sure. They're going to get traded. They look like a fun team to root for. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they look like high energy, high octane players. We look like fucking babies out there. Particularly one player. He is 27 years old. Does not look like it. He just looks like a tall boy that needs some home cooking and a dose of reality for sure. It's game 2, so I'm gonna try to kind of curb back some of my negative thoughts here. I didn't see a whole lot of willpower, will to win. I didn't see a desire to just blow this team out. I thought we played down to our competition, as is Minnesota tradition. And well, I'm done with traditions. I don't want no lasagna dinners anymore. I don't want those fucking photo ops at the state fair. I don't want blowouts against teams that we need to blow out. And what are we trying to be great, right? I don't know. I guess we're trying to be 500.
Yeah, this was a game where in the early goings, I actually was kind of surprised that we were winning by as much as we were, because I was like, man, really, we should probably win this game by like 30, 40, 50 points.
50, easy.
Because we are the significantly better team on paper, and we just are better, but yeah, we're lacking. And I don't want to just go straight to the, oh, well, it's because we don't have Pat Bev kind of excuse. But Pat Bev would have motivated a lot of guys today to be a lot more into this game today. And, instead our leader is Cat. And like I said, like you said, I'm not going to get too negative right now just because it is game 2. But as most of you who have been here before know, we are typically a little bit more on the, I don't want to say anti-Cat train, but we are on the spectrum of pro and anti-Cat. We're definitely on the lower end of the anti-Cat.
We're on the spectrum,
just so you know. But yeah, it's just when that's your leader complaining and kind of taking really rushed shots and bad moments, it doesn't really give you a lot of comfort. So we just have to go through a stage of finding out who will actually be our leader, because it just can't be Towns. It just can't be.
I don't know. I'm saying some obvious bullshit here, but it's an 82 game season. Game two isn't going to really break, the team morale or anything, but it can start to light a fuse. Like, this is great tape for us to look at and be like, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. But apparently, we've had seasons of this, and it still shows and rears its head as a kick out offensive foul, as an arm out offensive foul, as suspect plays, trying to bait players into fouls. Just do the normal basic thing: get to the rim, post up, do a three, get to the line. They're very simple plays. We did some things very well last game. We did them kind of in opposite order tonight. We have like a big three out there, right? That like got their points, got their stats, but it felt like a different type of big three tonight. And I'm going to get into that later when we talk about tier list. But no one really stood out. There was moments where someone took over, and then when they relegated to the corner, they put back in the bench. There was like D'Lo all throughout the whole game when he looked like his best form tonight at points.
Yes,
but like the ball wasn't always in his hands. Like, we need to get everyone involved. That's always going to be our issue. Like, we can't find it naturally. It has to be your turn, then your turn, then your turn. It was so obvious. Like, Cat wanted the ball. He is finally engaged in the game. He finally made a three. The ball's not going to anyone else because Cat wants to get in the game. Cat wants his fucking stats. He had 8 points, coming into fucking like third quarter or something like that. And it wasn't a natural way to get him involved. It was more of a forceful like fight with him and his own demons. I think the Jazz were the better team tonight.
Yeah, they were, and they wanted it. They came out right away and wanted it, even though we were getting up early on them, like you were just talking about. Like, they just continually went after it. And you got the Markkanens. You just got these 3-point shooters where you saw in the first game it was going to be an issue to have like the scattering of players to kind of rotate out to the 3-point line is just not happening. And we're getting used to Gobert offensively and defensively. And yeah, just frustrating. By the way, tier list is up in the Discord if you haven't already. Lots to take away from this game. I'm both curious and very not looking forward to the post-game interviews. Specifically Cats. I don't want to see Cats, but others, I'd be curious to see what Rudy says. I'd be curious to see what Ant says. I'm not going into full-blown panic mode yet. This was one or two of the first 7 games that I thought we had a chance at losing. So I'm not going to go full on crazy, but I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy.
Yeah. I'm unhappy with the body language I saw tonight. I think, Cat had early intensity and it led to some fouls. I think he looked pretty cool, like pretty good. He made a couple of shots and he had some good energy, and then he had that offensive foul and it just flipped. He flipped the switch. He became something else. Gobert is like a steady hand, a steady leader. D'Lo, the same thing. We don't have that leader on the court that's going to mouth off, going to bark down, going to calm down, going to refocus, recenter a Cat or an Ant or anything. We saw a lot of Ant, like kind of will, like to get to the rim, which was great. Got a couple of and ones, which was nice. Some actual layups that went in, but we didn't see a whole lot of consistency. He made his best game so far this season, but not a whole lot of consistency. I think Jaden was a shell of himself tonight. I didn't see him on the court. Like, it was great to have him stick on a Beasley or a Clarkson, but they still popped off for what their role was. So, like, Jaden's role was diminished in a way. I felt Gobert's presence. I felt McLaughlin, and I feel like even one of the best players of the night was Jalen Noel. I felt him throughout the whole game, and I thought he was so engaged in the defensive end. It was really nice to see. That's a big takeaway for me. Some of the body language for me: Naz Reid, not engaged. Doesn't he had a couple blocks, but he didn't feel like he cared, and because he didn't play the first game. He's now barely in the rotation. Bryn Forbes barely in the rotation, is not getting up for people when they make those plays, not clapping for players, not helping people up. I think, and then we see that in Cat, like going out to the fucking, what's it called, the locker room, kind of like pouting.
What was that?
Just all sorts of nonsense. And I think body language is going to be a character for this team. I think we need to stick up for each other. We need to be better than ourselves, but also we need to practice positive and proactive, like kind of like language here, like because pouting is only going to just amount into more, and it's going to kind of waterfall into something else, and it's going to snowball into something else. It's going to snowball you out of the game. Like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and I think there will be some. I guess I was hoping for in the beginning of the season with how deep our roster is for us, anyways. For a Timberwolves team to have this deep of a roster, I thought there might be a lot more competition to try to get in those like seventh or eighth man spots where it's like we have players really when they come on the court, they're just like rearing to go, ready to prove themselves. Because that kind of happened at the end of the bench of like preseason where players were trying to get on the final roster. But
Mhm.
now I don't feel that same intensity other than like Jalen Noel, who isn't necessarily fighting for a position, but like, Jalen Noel obviously did look amazing tonight and had me. I think Jalen probably was my favorite player tonight just because of how exciting he was.
Hands down.
And he was impactful. Like, you were saying Gobert was impactful. Of course he is. And I loved your comment from the last show. Like how does Gobert have a bad game? Really? Like
Mhm.
he can't have a bad game. So Gobert is just going to be this consistent thing for us. But Jalen Noel hasn't been a consistent thing for us in the past. So if he can be a consistent version of what he was tonight, that gave me a lot of hope. Because I think we can assume that Ant will get on the right track. I mean, tonight was already a better step in that direction. D'Lo's been pretty good offensively this season, so I'm pretty happy with that. And Cat is kind of all over the place, which I don't know if that'll correct itself. Um,
No
but
idea.
yeah, it is it's just going to be an interesting beginning of the season, and I mean, I'm again, like we said before the season, I'm glad that we play all these bad teams in the beginning of the season because we really need to get a rhythm down now and not get too down on ourselves losing. I mean, losing to the Jazz is not good and it is pathetic, um but you have a chance to win some of these games even if you aren't playing well, like tonight and like last or on Wednesday. Like we didn't play well on Wednesday and we won. So um having the ability to play ugly basketball and still win is nice.
That's what I thought this game was going to be, and I thought
Yeah.
the calls were going to go our way, and like for once it feels like our kind of game where we're going to get the calls, we're going to get the win. It's going to be a gritty closeout game, and go into overtime with a sick, that sick play by D'Lo. It felt like our game.
Mhm.
I mean, the third quarter is going to be where I feel like I'm going to point to a lot of like discomfort. I think the first quarter was fun to see possibilities of like our guards kind of showing out and maybe kind of relegating Cat to like kind of like his third option, and that was kind of nice to see because Cat as a third option is like the best third option in the league, um, and it helps with spacing when he's not having the ball in his hands all the time because then the guards have purpose rather than like spot up shooting.
Mhm.
We saw some random stuff with Cat passing, with Cat kind of getting in the way of Gobert rebounding. Right, it was like so silly. But the third quarter was suspicious for me because we technically had three people score, but we only had really two people score the whole third quarter. Jalen Noel and Ant Edwards had 10 plus points apiece, and then J Mac had that buzzer beater, random
Yeah.
over Kessler to beat the buzzer. That's all we had in the third quarter, and I just felt like that we lost the game there. We could have taken this game over, early Bulls era, Lakers era, right, where Kobe they just like wiped the floor with the team in the third quarter and then put in the reserves to close out the game, right? That's how we should approach the season. Beat the teams we're supposed to beat, punch them in the mouth, take them out of the gym, and then throw in our subs when it's like garbage time earlier than it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm frustrated with how it seemed like we came out of the gates in the third and second half, and it's going to be an ongoing narrative for me to see like how we can respond.
Yep. And next game is Sunday, I think. So we shall see. Also, we didn't get Arby's tonight, so sad night.
Oh my gosh,
Um
what is Arby's? Is that the 15 threes?
third or it's 12 threes and we got 11. So um sad day. But all right. Well, you want to jump into the tier list?
Yeah.
Tier list. All right. And if you haven't voted already, it's in the Discord, but I'll pull up the Discord again if you don't mind pulling up the stats.
Yeah, I got the stats.
Sweet.
I'm just like kind of observing what I saw in the fourth quarter, and it's true. Like D'Lo just really came out and played his ass off tonight, but Cat had so many flops in that fourth quarter, even though like he got his points, right?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy just to see that like statistically, well, whatever, backing up the data that I saw with stats.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
So yeah, let's do this a little bit different than we normally do because typically
yeah,
we go through a lot of players that maybe don't necessarily deserve to be talked about on a given
yeah.
night. So maybe you choose a bench player and I'll choose a bench player, and then we'll just go through the starting five. That'll be nice and easy. So
Yeah. Also, Kyle Anderson checked into the game and then checked out of
yeah,
the game pretty early with some sort of like back spasm thing. So I
mhm.
hope that that's not going to be this like lingering thing that's going to be persistent throughout the season. But I just hope he's okay. It actually kind of felt like we needed him out there sometimes. So all right, cool. I'm going to pick kind of maybe the obvious 19 minutes, 19 and a half minutes, 8 for 14, 2 for 5 from three, a couple assists, a couple steal or so. Jalen Noel with 18 points. You have a grade for him.
Yes,
All right, 3, 2, 1. A.
A,
Yeah.
perfect.
What's up, Jace Olson? Jazz fan here. Great game today from both teams. I agree. It was a good time.
I
All right.
I disagree. I didn't have a good time. Where the heck is I'm losing it? Where's Jalen?
He's third.
Oh, okay, there. I wasn't looking there. Yeah, but he was an A. I mean, he was just exciting to watch. He had exciting plays. He was finishing through and ones, like taking three. Like I keep saying this whenever I watch him, and it sounds like an insult, but it truly is kind of a compliment, I guess. I say that he's like Shabazz Muhammad because he's just so score hungry, but he's not the human like bowling ball that just like crashes into people and does that. He still has that same scoring mentality, but it's just so much more refined to the point where it's actually enjoyable. Um, so I like it. It's the good meaning of Shabazz Muhammad if there is one. Um,
Shabazz Muhammad was Taylor Horton Tucker tonight, but
that's true.
Jalen Noel needed another 10 minutes out there. It felt like it. Like
Yeah,
we went small. We went small in a weird portion of the game, and it didn't really feel good. I felt like whenever Gobert was out of the game, we were having difficulty rebounding the ball. We were having difficulty closing out on shots. We were having difficulty just like responding to what feels like a natural default position. You know what was really awesome was Jalen Noel was at least aggressive defensively. He was getting up, trying to get charges, trying to wall up defenders. Had a couple bad calls, I would say, but I was really impressed with him, and I just think growing pains. But look at this. This is a reason why we're playing every game because Jalen's going to show up like in a game like this. We need him. We need him for 82 games.
Yeah, no, we do, and I would have loved a lot more of them tonight. So this is a tough night to choose a second bench player, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna
So we
break
don't
the
have
rules.
to.
I'm gonna break the rules already, and we're not gonna because the
Yeah.
next closest is like Torian Prince or Jordan McLaughlin, and neither one of them did anything notable. So,
Yeah.
on
Is
onto
that
this,
frustrating that we didn't get anything from Prince tonight?
I think it's frustrating that several of our bench players weren't able to produce. I thought this would be a great opportunity for our bench players to have like pretty high scoring game. Just because I mean we're playing the Jazz, their second line is not some defensive like insane thing. Like we should be able to score on their backups. And really the only person that could do that was Jalen Noel. So that is frustrating. I think that's a bad sign. Could just be a bad night because our bench did have good performances in the preseason, given it's the preseason. But I mean, we're in the regular season, so this is, I guess, day one of tracking that trend. But hopefully, that's not an ongoing trend. But
With the exception of Cat, for obvious reasons, most of our starters played near 40 minutes, and we lost. And our starters are making more than the entire Utah roster combined, right? So we're paying for L's here. I do think it's a byproduct of us not being able to close out the game early, not able to blow out the team early, not being able to trust what the product we have on the court. So maybe he just was like, we have to grind our starters out tonight because it's
mhm.
a must-win game, right?
Yeah.
this pick of ours at the end of the season is going to Utah, whether we like it or not, and we could be bad, and it's going to Utah. So like, that's a little dose of reality there. We're not going to be bad, but it's just could be a possibility.
It's always a possibility. Cool. Well, maybe let's just go in the order that I
Yeah,
have
so
them there.
cool.
I've got D'Lo, then J Mac, that or Jaden, and then I got Ant, Gobert, and Town. So let's do D'Lo first.
All right, D'Lo with 30 and a half minutes, 8 for 17, 3 for 8 from 3. Made all 4 free throws. He had 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, only 3 turnovers tonight, so he improved that. But with a third 23 points. I wish I could simplify that, but anyways, I'll get better somehow. Hey, do you have a grade for D'Lo?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm just gonna not ask you anymore, okay?
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. A.
B.
Ooh.
So I was really close to A. That's why I was kind of undecided because, I mean, realistically, I do have high expectations for D'Lo, and this is kind of a game that I would hope that we'd have from him frequently. We don't, but like this is one that I do. Like this is when we sign D'Lo. This is like, oh, this is going to be like our average D'Lo, and he's going to have some better games than this, and maybe a couple worse. But like this is going to be our D'Lo, and realistically, it's turned out to be like this is our A1 D'Lo.
Oh,
um,
yeah.
so I I I would hope that this isn't like the best we could possibly see from D'Lo. I hope that there's even
Wow.
better.
Yeah.
Um, but it was a good game. I'm not saying it wasn't. I mean, B obviously doesn't mean that it was a bad game. I think it was a fine game. And I think I mean, the dropping Mike Conley was a worthy in itself. And making that shot was incredible. But obviously, there's still defensive things with D'Lo. Um,
Yeah.
Still
He looks
some
a step
decision
slower
making.
defensively this year.
Yeah, but I still love a lot of his aggressiveness on offense when he's driving to the bucket now. Like he's able to, I just feel confidence when he's doing that now.
Right.
So I do like that, and that so far I have liked what I've seen from D'Lo in both games this year. So
Yeah, I mean, you kind of convinced me, and also a pretty awesome point there. We want to see better from all of our players. This is not an A-worthy game. If this is his consistency, this is awesome. I can't wait for this level of D'Lo. I want more out of every single player. So in that regard, like he's a B. Because defensively he was a little inept. He let Mike Conley open in that last 3 that he made.
yep.
It was hard to switch with D'Lo, and he was better as like this low man in a defensive like routine. And I think as a switcher, he's having a hard time, and I think he's going to
Yes.
get exposed and especially in playoffs, he's going to be the person that people switch to, right? So
Hmm.
like it's going to hard to keep him on the court, and at times I like the baby Mac out there running the offense a little bit. I feel very encouraged, though. I will say that much by what I saw, and that's why I'm like not like bagging on this team tonight. Like this was a lot of like little things and a lot of like a 7-footer thing, but
Yeah.
I don't think D'Lo had a whole lot to like to like ripe on. Like I was saying, this are what I'm trying to say. I think
Yeah.
I'm
No.
rambling a
Yeah.
lot today. Sorry.
I agree totally. Like, there's nothing that I could really like overly complain about from D'Lo tonight. It was a good
Rag
game.
on it. All right, cool. So next up is Jaden McDaniels. 10 points, 4 for 7 from the field. Uh, didn't make a 3, made a couple free throws. Didn't get to the line as much as he did last time, but I thought that was kind of an anomaly. I don't think he'll ever do that
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
He had 4 free throws, 3 fouls, 3 really ticky-tack fouls, and team high, minus 19, which means his opponent just owned him.
Apparently, the
Uh,
Utah Jazz are his kryptonite. uh,
yeah.
3, 2, 1, D.
See? Yeah, or D, or shit. Fuck, you got me. It's
Yeah, I
D.
think it's
It's a
it's
D.
D because I mean, it's probably one of the lower grades that we'll ever give Jaden. He's another one of those players similar to Gobert where like he can't really have like that bad of a game, but for Jaden, this was a bad game. He wasn't nearly as impactful as he usually is defensively. And then obviously we're looking for a lot more offense this year. Not that we need him to be our offense, but like last game was amazing. He scored 19 points or 20 points or whatever it was. Like you said, that's somewhat of an anomaly to have all those free throws and things like that. But he was aggressive last game. He was driving. He was shooting. It was good looks. But this one has not been. This one was not a fun one for him, and I just didn't even notice him out there many times, which is not
Yeah,
normal for him.
yeah, for sure. Actually, it was like Jim Pete like calling him out. That's the only thing, like, oh yeah, Jaden's out there.
Yeah,
In a lot of instances, I kind of wish we had Jalen Noel out there. Just like,
Mhm.
all right, we get it. Like, we want to stop the dude, but like, this might be a game where we need just to outshoot him and get
Because
him,
we
just be a gunning team as opposed to trying to be defensively
Yeah, because
oriented.
we weren't stopping anybody.
We weren't stopping shit. Yeah.
Gobert was the only
Um,
one stopping anybody.
I mean, we lost to Laurie Markkinen, Kelly Olynyk. That's gotta hurt.
We lost to a lot of
Um,
former Timberwolves.
yeah, a lot of former Timberwolves or like almost Timberwolf. Like that pick was ours, and like we traded him, right? So, um, and just like Olynyk has always been a Timberwolves killer, but like why? Why does he have to be? Like we
I
don't
don't
need that to be in our DNA. Like it shouldn't happen. Anyways,
it
Jaden,
should
do better. I loved what I saw of you last time. This is a step down. Okay. Let's do Rudy Gobert, 30, almost 38 minutes, 9 points, 4 turnovers, which I think he had Butterfinger hands tonight. He had a steal. He had a couple fouls that I wasn't expecting him to get,
no.
but 23 rebounds, and 10 of them were offensive, which were all needed. And well, he missed a couple free throws at the end, which would have been nice to have, but oh well. You have a grade for him? Yeah, you do. In 3, 2, 1. B.
C.
Ooh, yeah. So
So
this will be the lowest it'll ever be for us.
yeah, I mean,
This is a 23 rebound performance is just average. Is what
23. Okay, maybe it is a
what we
B.
expect. It's what we
23 is
expect out
crazy.
of our $40 million man.
I think in my head, I was just thinking we expect a lot of rebounds from him, but hearing 23 again is kind of like, okay, never mind. That's like a lot. And 10 offensive rebounds. I think it's a B. I think you instantly convinced me. It's just, I mean, that is impressive, especially against a team. I mean, not like we had Vando last year, and Vando was obvious. I mean, Vando had a lot of rebounds tonight. I think he had 12 or something like that. But, um, but you know, having a player like Gobert that can just eat up rebounds like that is amazing. Even with Cat trying to steal half of them from him, so that's even more impressive. So maybe it's an A. But no, it was a good game by Rudy. Again, this is probably like closer to the lowest we're ever going to see Rudy's like performance wise. I mean, like we're not expecting him to score a ton of points like he did the last game. We were feeding him so aggressively the last game, and this game there wasn't that same level of like get Rudy the ball, get Rudy the ball. It was like get Rudy the rebound, get Rudy the rebound, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And he had those blocks, which were pretty sick. And he's just a defensive presence. So yeah, no, this was a good game. I'd agree with a B. And the Discord's been, oh, by the way, I haven't been saying this, but the Discord's been split on like every single one that we've done between the two that we've chosen.
Oh yeah.
Like every one is exactly split like that. So it's kind of interesting.
Oh shit.
Um,
Well, that's fun. I
but
mean,
yeah,
this is a kind of a polarizing game because we saw a good like output from some of our players. We lost, so it kind of goes down in a notch. Like we saw some. We're about to get to this player that like kind of was all over the place tonight, and he's still like a fan favorite. So like we're gonna have these types of kind of commentary about these players when we lose like games that we should win. So it makes sense that we're split on stuff like this.
Annie Oop is in
I
here.
believe your X2 is Annie Oop.
Yeah, Annie Oop.
And you trade everyone for Victor. Victor, oh, Webenyama. I'm actually,
Yeah.
Let's do it now. That's fine.
Let's do
Make it
it.
happen.
Let's do it. As long as we can keep Rudy too.
Mm.
But yeah, who's next? Oh, Ant's next.
Yeah, let's do Ant next. And I want to say before I give him stats, a couple things I saw from him tonight were I think he's okay. Like his legs, his athleticism is okay.
Yep.
I'm going to worry when it's like when he starts to just chuck. I'm so happy that he's aggressively trying to find himself, getting the ball and then going to the rim. However, in overtime, I saw him be a shell of himself. And in the fourth quarter, we don't win this game without him, as JJ had mentioned. Like we didn't get this game to overtime without him. In third quarter, he was the only one who was scoring, right? So it's like
Yeah.
what happened in that second half that like our others kind of stopped playing and it was up to Ant to come to play. In that regard, his game is going to look a little deceiving because it was such a lot of him in the second half and in the first quarter. But anyways, 30 points, 5 turnovers, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, a few free throws, 3 for 9 from 3, 12 for 23 from the field. I went that in opposite direction because I got a 41 minutes though.
Hmm.
Maybe that was part of it. I have a grade for him.
I do too.
In
3.
3, 2, 1. C.
B. Okay, yeah. So this is actually interesting. I thought you were gonna say B, so I was gonna say B. But it's weird to give a 30-point player a C, but at the same time, this was like a pretty. I mean, this is like just a mediocre performance. This is like kind of okay. When you said he had 30 points, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I literally double taked at my stats over here, and I was like, "Wait, really?" Because I knew he was scoring a bit, but it didn't dawn on me that it was like that many points. Um, but like you said, I mean, he was driving a little bit tonight, and I don't necessarily exactly the same sentiment as you had. Like, I'm not too worried about his knees right now because like he's driving, he's looking good. But I do think there's still this little bit of like hesitancy to just take over as like the main guy. Um, and I hate to keep bringing everything back to Towns, but I do feel like this is a little bit of like the coaching staff and maybe the organization as a whole still treating Towns as
You
the
got it.
player on the team.
You got it. That's it. That's the reason,
Yeah.
honestly. It's a little bit of like, here's the current team, here's the future team. Like, here's Ant is gonna be our future. Not right now, Ant. Hold on,
Yeah.
Cat. Hold on,
Yeah.
Ant. It's Cat's turn. But in reality, it's not, and it's Ant's team. My issue is we need to feed everyone. Everyone, certain people are role players by nature. Jaden doesn't need points to have a really fun game for himself to feel impactful and to have a competitive like drive. Like Vando, Beverly, those players are awesome to root for because they never need the ball to do the things they want to do on the court. Ant kind of does. Cat really
Yep.
does, right? So, and Cat felt like he was taking himself out of the game, and we'll get to him in a second. But Ant was like in the game 100% and was guarding really well. I thought he was awesome on D for the most part. There was a couple lapses I saw too, but he had a heavy load on him, and I think it kind of took its toll on in the fourth quarter after he like pretty much took it over just to
Yeah.
get us in, to get us
Mhm.
within 7 with a minute to go. Like, that was so embarrassing, Timberwolves, but we had to rely on it. My issue is, I saw some one-on-one bullshit with Vando. I saw some one-on-one bullshit with Conley and with Beasley, and he got kind of taken over. Like, I think he had a few turnovers. What did I say? He had 5 turnovers, and all those were on those like one-on-one opportunities.
Mhm.
And so I think there's this like ego to him that he needs to check. But I also feel like his ego is almost there that needs to click, and he just needs to
Yep.
take over the game. And I think there's an emphasis on getting the ball to D'Lo to distribute, to be this facilitator early in the game. But honestly, it's like we need to find out if Ant's going to take over this game early in the game, right? So that's my thought on it.
I 100% agree. He is the player that you need to get him the ball early in the game to see if he's on or not because he's I mean, he can take a lot of shots in the game, but like he needs those shots to get into a rhythm in the beginning of the game, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, like when he is on and he can get on early, like obviously we've seen in like the play-in game, we've seen in the playoffs last year, like Ant has the ability to take over. And that is the version of this team that needs to be happening more frequently than give Towns the ball to flail and have offensive turnovers and just like offensive fouls is what I meant. But like there's just like Ant is the key to this team working, and the keys need to be turned over to Ant so that we can go in that direction now before it's before we're too late into the season. But I don't think that's going to happen because they're still announcing Cat as like the main player when they come out of the tunnel. Cat's always the last one. On any marketing material, Cat's the main one. On any jersey stuff, Cat's the main one. And you know, I it's just it needs to change. And I mean, I'd rather it be Rudy than Cat, um, but yeah, it is a little worrisome.
Well,
So I
welcome,
guess,
Todd Proctor. Towns is seriously Tommy Boy with the role.
hey Todd, sounds like you're gonna fit in here. Um,
Oh, you
let's
know
see.
Todd.
No,
Oh,
but it sounds like we could know Todd.
we probably know you. Yeah, we probably know you.
Yeah, we should. Um,
You remember that time when we went to Brothers together? Man, what a good time. um,
so the Discord is split again between C and D. Oh wait, what am I looking at? I'm looking at Ant. Wait, am I looking at Ant? No, I'm not looking at Ant. I lost him. They're split. Oh, everybody said B for Ant in Discord.
30 points. Like, that's great. He found himself tonight. Like, it was great to see his aggressiveness. It's B worthy, but I'm just saying, like, there's some defensive lapses. I think as someone pointed out in the Discord, or even here in off-ball defense needs to improve. He needs to be as engaged as possible. He needs to take over the game. It needs to be on him, not the coaches. And I saw some one-on-one stuff that I didn't like, but I did see his drives to the rim were very encouraging. So we need to, like, it's a B. It really is a B.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, 30 points is kind of a lot. So cool.
All right. And now for the post with the most,
before
he goes
you do
by
this,
so many names.
Before you do the post with the most, anybody that's new here, we do this after every game. So feel free to subscribe, join us. Obviously, we know everybody in the chat, so we'll all become friends. We'll all go to Brothers together. Cool. And yes, the tier list is in the Discord. We have a Discord as well. Join it. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you. Give me the post with the most.
Oh no! You got. I thought I missed you saying liking and sharing and subscribing, joining us on Discord, and just following us on socials and being part of this community that's growing. And it's super fun to be part of.
It is.
All right.
It is.
All right. Now down from that high to reality, I'm questioning the developing staff. Godfrey says generational talent. Anthony Towns off in postgame with 33 minutes, 27 points, 5 turnovers, 5 fouls, all of them egregious, 2 assists, 8 rebounds. He made his free throws, which was maybe the best part of his game tonight. And he was 2 for 6 from 3. I don't know. I'm questioning like doing this grade because
okay, everybody put your grades in the chat. A1 down to Glenn Taylor. Keep in mind, Glenn Taylor is consistently bad, like unfixable. Juancho is like you had a really bad night, and everything in between is obviously self-explanatory.
Honestly, though, Juancho was a hell of an actor, right? Like we gotta almost like maybe it's his brother Willie.
They had to cut all of his lines out of the previews of that movie, but yeah, he was a hell of an actor.
All right, I have a grade.
You've got a grade. I've got a grade.
People already have a grade. In 5, we'll give you 4 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Juancho. Borderline Kurt Rambis. Back-to-back Juanchos. We are teetering on Glenn Taylor category here. Like, we're getting close. Now, some of you maybe that aren't accustomed to Timberwolves basketball and haven't I'm assuming anybody that's here has probably watched plenty of Timberwolves basketball over the past few years. In case you haven't, the reason we're giving a player who scored over 20 points and almost had a decent stat line this low of a grade is because of how egregious the mistakes were for your top player. Expectation-wise, he is playing like garbage. If he is the number 1 player, he's on a generational streak of Juanchos. It is true. It's not good. And some of it, just to play like devil's advocate somewhat, is sure, he had some kind of medical instance happen in the beginning of the season that's still unclear. He clearly lost a lot of weight, so like he's not comfortable in his own skin right now. So there is that element of it. But at the same time, he's capable. I mean, look at the beginning of the game. He was capable of hitting those threes. And I was kind of like, wow, this is Ashwin and I's dream of Cat just being an only 3-point shooter. Like, this is perfect. This is perfect. You're going to nail so many threes, and it's going to be such a happy day because we're going to have such good spacing. You're never going to catch up. You're never going to get a foul ever because you never have to drive. You can just stay out there, shoot threes, pick and roll, or pick and pop, and you're good. That's how it started. But then he just gets a little bit greedy and wants to be the all-around generational talent that does the behind the back, between the legs, shaking his body as he's going through the lane. It's just the worst. So
throwing oops to the top of target center,
throwing the oops to all the way up to section like 237, row G. But
row G.
It was
Man, were you part of the howl? Oh, you weren't there at the game tonight. You weren't
I
part of the
wasn't at the
howl off.
game. Yeah. 0-1 Timberwolves Daily. Welcome back. See the new
Welcome back to the
logo.
feeling. This is the feeling we've all wanted. The hype is already over. Like, we're done with it,
Yeah,
and
this is over. Yeah.
we're just a 500 team now. That's
We've
all
been
we are.
talking about tanking. We're gonna go to Tankathon right after this and see our chances of. We should do that. We should do a lottery spin to see if we get we get the #1 pick. Okay, I'm doing it.
We're not going to get the pick. It's going to Utah.
Oh, that's right. So we'll get to see. We'll get to see if they get it because they may at this point.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
He
Okay, so
says he has no feeling. On this note, we have a few people here. Go subscribe to Timberwolves Daily. They do content for some reason daily,
that's crazy.
and they're killing it with awesome interviews. Cooper is cool, and go support him and all that. Yeah, I thought Cat was miserable tonight. I didn't like a single thing from him outside of the very first stint in the first quarter, up until his very first foul. I liked that and nothing more. I thought he was embarrassing to come out in the third quarter and do what he didn't do. He didn't do anything in the third quarter. He was watching Lauri Markkanen shoot threes and make threes. He was watching the comeback happen, the takeover by Utah's youths, right? Like the youth of Utah. I don't know who the fuck they are, and they're taking over this game. And like, I would be embarrassed if I was Karl-Anthony Towns. I would be. And it felt like, and I was almost going to be like praising Finch tonight, that he wasn't going to get back on the court. I was like, just like had this feeling.
Yes.
It went through my head like, oh man, if Finch is like really going to call this out and say, hey, Cat, you're getting benched tonight. Oh man, I was going to be fucking just teething.
I'm so happy.
I don't know if teething is the right word, but instead, we saw him come back in the fourth, and while it was interesting to see him make a couple like those like long twos or whatever, it was Ant's fourth quarter for sure. But the OT is when I really kind of was like, this $40 million man is shooting us out of the game. He's taking this quick shot from fucking half court. He's not boxing out for rebounds. He's getting calls for him, and he's like doing nothing with those calls. And this is like year 1,000 for Cat. He's 27 years old. He's been in this league as long as he's been in, and I don't think he's growing. I think he's becoming more immature. Every play is like, I don't know, extrapolated into something that doesn't need to be discussed, doesn't need to be talked about. He's like talking to, I don't know, Carlito or something. Every play, he's talking out of his ass, and like, that's an and one, that's a foul. He's like being so demonstrative, and it's just, I don't know. I don't like this. I don't like this version of Cat, and we're not going to get a not version of this. This is going to be Cat moving forward, and I agree with you on the fact that he's the poster boy, and he wants to be it, and he wants to be the man, according to his Instagram posts. But he's a child.
He is. And the worst part about it is that they won that challenge tonight, and now Cat is going to think, see, we just have to challenge every time that I think it's a foul. And I hate that I have to think like that, but I know that that's what Towns is going to think now. That's like the way he thinks. And we've said it before. We've said it every year that we've done this streaming. We've said Towns is this guy that plays like he's got like, it plays like how you imagine like a kid plays when they're playing at like their like elementary school basketball game. Like, I got to show off every possible trick that I could show tonight because it's show and tell time. Like, that's what it feels like. And he goes out there and does it. And it's never the serious, like, adult approach to the game of like how he talks in interviews where he says, like, nobody cares about the entertain. We're not here to entertain. We're here to win. Like, he's here to entertain. Truly. He really is. He is an entertainer. That's what he wants to be. He doesn't. If he truly cares about winning, he'd make winning plays, but he just doesn't know how to do that. I don't know. It's just so frustrating. But I died when I read Todd Proctor's. Sorry I covered your face for a second, but every single time I feel like the Timberwolves will be different in close games. Same shit, new day. Always we're effing cursed. Sickening. Been watching since the Metrodome days. Yep.
Metrodome. That's what I was there Metrodome.
Too. That's crazy. But
join the club. Todd
Yeah,
Proctor.
join the group. Yeah.
Yeah, we're a bunch of negative Nancy's over here, but I don't know. It feels like the best team we've ever conceived, and so we have high expectations. It's only game two, so I got to stay kind of neutral / positive about all this. The Jalen Noels is a huge positive. The Ant kind of coming back to form is kind of, for the most part, offensively is pretty cool. D'Lo, seeing this version of D'Lo is going to be great. We got to build on this consistency that we haven't seen yet. So whatever level of consistent, we got to keep growing. So I don't know. But Cat is going to be this, like, I don't know, thorn in every game. Like, I don't know what game we're going to get out of Cat. He's going to get his numbers, and I don't know what the fuck happened. Right? Like, I'm going to have no idea how he got those numbers.
Yeah. Sad. They're always changing my personality. Always optimistic, but this sucked tonight. Yeah, that's just what happens. Just what happens. Unicorn Town, exactly. And Godfrey, he plays like his dad is the coach. His dad isn't the coach anymore. Thank you, Godfrey.
Yeah.
That's a good
I was
way to say
expecting
that.
some tweets from Dane Moore and John Brzezinski, and all I got was ding, ding.
That's what they said.
That's what Dane Moore said.
Interesting. I don't know what that means, but I am like tempted to like go and try to find like post game interviews, but I also like really don't want to see that.
Yeah.
It scares me. I don't know what to expect, and I don't know if there even is any right now. I'm just looking real quick. I don't see anything. So, well, that's okay.
Well, that's my bad. He said ding ding in reaction to Town scoring. So our next game is sometime this weekend. I don't know, but it's against OKC. You know what? Thank fuck that we're against OKC's
Yeah.
and we're not on national media. Like, remember when we were like only X amount of games? That sucks. I really am
Please
so
hide
glad we're
us.
not on national media. We're not getting fucking scrutinized by Charles and Shaq and Stephen A. Like, no one cares about us now. We made the trade. They talked about us for 24 hours, and it was really because of Wendy going off on this meme. And it was like, oh,
Yeah.
what does it mean for LeBron and his legacy?
Yeah.
So, right.
What is
so.
this? Yeah. Yeah, no. I did that. One thing I did notice, I was watching TNT, I think it was last night, or I can't remember when it was, but they were actually giving a hard time to Joel Embiid, and it was like a very cat-like conversation that they were having,
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about, like, it was kind of like, whoa, this is interesting. Like, they're finally getting a taste of how we like Towns is getting. But
I mean, Embiid, it looked like Embiid gave no shit that game. And
yeah.
he was just chucking. He was not doing Embiid things, and he wasn't getting the line, which was awesome to see from the refs to like swallow the whistle. But also, like, he didn't seem like he had any energy. Looks like he's out of shape. Cat looks like he's under shape. He looks like he's not yet a shape. He looks like he's a scrawny Marvin Bagley that's just going to be a bench player. His game is going to age really well in his 50s, right? He's going to try to pull a LeBron and play till he's 75, but he's going to just shoot threes. But if he's ever driving the rim, I don't know what's going to happen, right? If he ever trying to throw a pass, I don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I don't either. Yeah, he might throw a lob to the ceiling. He might charge into a player. Like, there's just like it's one of two things.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but Poku took Gobert outside. If he hits some shots, Wolves are in trouble. You're not wrong. I mean, we didn't know how to adjust to not having. I mean, like Gobert, we're actually pretty lucky that it even went to overtime tonight, because Lauri Markkanen actually like crossed over, or not Embiid. What am I saying? Gobert, and Gobert like tripped on his way to go try to block the last shot from Markkanen. I think it was Markkanen that took it.
Yeah.
So we're pretty lucky that it went to overtime in the first place. I mean, we're lucky that it was even tied at the end of the game because of how bad, or how many shots we let them score, and how many bad shots we took at times. So,
Todd Proctor, you've come to the right place. I feel like we're going to answer this question maybe 75 times this season. And tonight, I don't really feel like it because it's so early. The answer is yes, undoubtedly.
yes.
I think a preseason kind of thing for me is that the hottest seat right now isn't anyone other than Cat. Cat needs to show out. He's just got his whatever his extension is. He had that fucking media conference just for him getting his contract extended. He needs to be great. I don't know. It's going to be him on the hot seat, and yeah, he's going to be a hot ticket for trade bait, either in the offseason or things in the future. However, like, now is not the time to be making moves or thinking about moves. We need to figure out our identity now with this team as tight as possible and as fast as possible. And it feels like we have parts of it figured out. And talent alone is going to win games like this normally. However, Cat was not in the game for most of it. So,
Yeah, I mean, he had that whole TikTok this summer with some famous guy that, like, I don't even know, but he was saying something like, "Oh, that pen worked good this summer," talking about his contract extension. Did you see that?
no, I'm sorry, man.
Okay, I am going to share this with everybody because I think it's worth everybody seeing. So, let's do this because I think
What's up,
everybody's going to
Carson?
love it.
It's been a while.
It's what?
Carson's back. It's been a while, Carson.
Carson. I actually saw Carson on Twitter today. I
Oh,
was
cool.
like, oh, first time in a while. Carson, I'm looking to try to get these free tickets, but we have to get Arby's for the free tickets to come back. Okay, here we go. All right, you
Yeah.
ready? Carl Anthony
Oh,
Towns
sure.
picks up the tab for drinks. Oops, it just did the wrong thing here. 1 second.
Nice. I can't wait for this content.
It's gonna be amazing, I promise.
Oh my god, it was
If I could
what a tease.
I was teasing a little bit there. Okay, I think this is the one. It's like the same thing. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
50 bottles of champagne and 60 bottles of tequila. Put it on his tab. Put it on his tab. You know what this is? Carl Anthony Towns. Cat. And you know, put it on his tab. And you got it. You got it?
Why are you wearing sunglasses in a nightclub?
Put it on his tab. Hey, Boston, look. Let me get 100 bottles of vodka, right?
So that's his priorities.
I have chosen to unfollow him on most media because it's damning to my psyche. I found him in yellow and black next to his fucking car in the parking lot of Target Center, being like, "I'm next." Yeah, unfollow, muted, reported. Yeah. Anyways, I am excited for Sunday or whenever we play an easier team. Apparently, because they have to be easier teams than the Jazz. I don't know.
Yeah. By
the
way,
is there an easy? Are there easy wins in the NBA anymore?
I was
There's
just
so
gonna
much
say.
parity now.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. There are just a lot of good teams, a lot of good players on even the bad teams. But friendly reminder, this is the easy section of the schedule for us this year.
Yeah.
So this is hypothetically the time that we should be winning most of the games. So keep that in mind. Any predictions that you had? Hopefully you took. Well, right now it looks like maybe you should have taken the under on Vegas odds, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get better. We'll see on Sunday.
Well, 52 wins is still in play, but 62 is looking a little bit frightful now after a loss like this.
62 definitely scares me. But any final thoughts from you, Ashton?
We might not be as good as I thought we would be.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be scary hours. Like, we could have moments where we're going to be spooky and fuck or whatever, like Kush Cuddy wants us to be. But, like, I think this first month or two is going to be kind of trying. Like, we are going to see losses where we were not expecting. We're going to be hanging our heads and our hats on things that wish we could have done something better. Obvious things, right? We just had less of a training camp than other teams because of Cat, and we need to figure out how this is going to work. The spotlight is on Cat, and so I can't wait for it to happen. I can't wait for it to work, but it's going to take some time.
It is. I agree. I think these first few games, and we kind of thought that they would be maybe a little ugly at times, but we also thought that we'd be winning them, not losing them. You know, this is previous Timberwolves kind of level stuff where you have promising games, but you lose. These were supposed to be promising games or like little grittier games, and you win, and we're losing. So. And we basically almost lost the home opener yesterday, other than just like a quick push in the fourth quarter to get us back over. But, well, we get to play them again on on Sunday. We get to play OKC again. So it'll be a great test. I'd say right now, I mean, we did our preseason predictions, and I had us Well, I had us in a range of 46 wins to 51 wins. I guess my final one was 51 wins is what I did, but I still can see that being possible. Obviously, this is just going to be a rough patch in the beginning, but I think we certainly can't be losing more games in this beginning stretch, though. Like, we can't. If we lose to the Thunder on Sunday, like, some panic bells start going off. Even though it is early, I understand that there's going to be time that it needs to happen for this team to gel 100%. I get that, but that we're just playing such low level teams right now that hypothetically should not really want to be winning games. So if we're losing 2 out of 3 games to them, that's a huge red flag for me. So cool. Well,
yeah.
That's it for us tonight. We'll be back Sunday night, I think, is the game against OKC. We will, jump over to do tier lists. Yeah, we do have a couple. So tier lists, we've got the Discord in the chat here. Should be in the description as well, I believe. I think it uploads that. I can't even remember now. But actually, I could check it right now. But join the Discord. We have all of our notifications there, all that stuff. Yeah, the Discord link is there. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. We go live after every game, usually within like 15 to 30 minutes after the game, somewhere in that range. So it gives you some time to take a rest and scream if you need to, and then come back here and scream with us as we talk through all of the Karl Anthony Towns kickouts and behind the back passes. Leo, man, you're correct. Do not underestimate.
He's correct. Don't underestimate any team. Kick their asses and blow them out the gym. That's what we're supposed to do.
But yeah, like our video, and if you want more content, we did come out with a season preview where we're a little bit more positive than we were tonight. So go check that out. It's an hour, I think, long, so plenty of content if you're looking for some more content on a Friday night. So cool. Well, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. 52 wins. Intro as the outro. We will see you Sunday night.